Hi, if you just joined us, welcome to our Lunch and Learn session. Just admitting a few people. We'll give them a few moments to join and then we'll get started in a minute or two. Okay, we'll get started. So welcome to our ReLondon CE Week 2024 Lunch and Learn session, how your businesses can engage in the circular economy and do a good thing. I'm absolutely delighted today to be joined by Stephanie from Community TechAid, Chris from Streetbox, and Mafalda from ReLondon as well. And none of this would have been possible without ReLondon and their CE Matchmaker service, their business transformation service as well. So I'm going to start off today's session by introducing Mafalda, who's going to talk to you a little bit about ReLondon. And I'm going to share news of a good thing and introduce our two circular charity guests, Community TechAid and Streetbox. So I'm going to hand over to Mafalda to talk to you a little bit about ReLondon.
Anna, sorry, I need to share my screen.
You should be there. You should be able to share. Zoom technical.
Can everyone see my screen?
Yeah.
So hi everyone, thanks for joining us. A special thank you to Anna and a Good Thing for inviting us and for highlighting amazing businesses that are part of our circular economy matchmaker, which I'll explain a bit in a bit later what the platform is. So to kick off, I just wanted to give a bit of an introduction of who ReLondon is. So ReLondon is a partnership between the Mayor of London and the London boroughs. And our mission is to revolutionize our relationship with stuff. So essentially, we believe that we can catalyze transformational change by inspiring and empowering others to action. And we do this in three core ways. So one way, and as Anna mentioned, as part of our business transformation program, we help businesses rethink their strategy, adopt and scale circular business models through training, advice, and connection with innovators. We empower and educate citizens in London to revolutionize their relationship with stuff through campaigns. And we also help local authorities rethink plans and policies to support recycling improvements and also provide advice through their circular economy projects. As I mentioned, I'm part of the business transformation team and program, and building on from our learnings and success of delivering previously ERDF funded activities and currently UKSPF, we have designed a program that helps everyday businesses trial new circular economy practices. And we also support circular economy innovators, such as the ones that you'll hear more about today, to reach new audiences and scale their impact. And as I was mentioned previously on the previous slide, we do this through advisory services that help businesses redesign their operations and validate their commercial and environmental assumptions underpinning their circular models. And we're also available to design bespoke support as part of existing accelerator and incubator programs. We also provide grants, and these are in an ad hoc basis, where we structure and administer these grants to enable businesses to experiment with and scale existing circular business models. And these can be borough specific or can be pan-London. And similar to the Circular Economy Matchmaker, we connect circular startups to London's ecosystem of investors, corporate buyers, and also public sector organizations. So we do this by organizing whether it is curated in-person events or providing bespoke scouting services to catalyze these relationships. It's been a very exciting year for us. So we've, as I've mentioned, now we support everyday businesses, and we've been doing this through our High Streets Beyond Waste program, which is pan-London, and we're also delivering a specific borough-led program with Southwark. And what we're doing is we're working with high street businesses, whether they're in the food and drink sector, retail, hair salons, and other services. And we're providing grant and advisory support to help them trial circular initiatives. We've also, and continue to do so, partner with councils or other organizations to provide High Streets Beyond Waste workshops, where businesses work very closely with our business advisors and understand how they're generating waste, and also we propose solutions for them to repurpose and reduce this waste in their business. And at the end, all businesses receive a bespoke action plan with recommendations. And we've also supported a few circular businesses through our Growing London Circular Food System grant program, where we supported circular innovators that tackle food waste across London to scale their business. So currently we have a network of approximately 600 small businesses across London, where we try to regularly engage with them and make sure they have access to all the opportunities they need to help amplify their message and also scale their solutions. And our team so we have our business engagement leads, which I am one of them, and also our business advisors, and we make sure that we help them in any way we can. And this leads me to the reason why we're here. Our Circular Economy Matchmaker platform, which showcases some of London's innovative circular businesses, and we help them connect to investors and public sector organizations who just want to build a greener and more circular city. So whether you're a circular business already and are developing a circular business model at your core, you can apply to be part of our circular SME community to make sure you grow your business and we can amplify your impact across the city and potentially even internationally. You can register your businesses, request and apply to register your business to be part of the platform and help you just reach a range of audiences to secure new commercial and investment opportunities. And you can also access knowledge and insight from peers and also some of our ReLondon advisors. If you're not yet a circular business, you can still browse our directory and check if there are any relevant businesses that can help you and support you on your circular journey. If you're part of the public sector, we invite you to also create an account so that you can connect with any local business in your borough to help deliver social value, climate action, and inclusive economic growth for your local community. So I think I'll pause there, and you can find out all about the businesses that are part of our matchmaker platform. You can see the website there, but I think Anna will share the slides at the end of today's session, and feel free to get in touch if you have any questions.
Great, thank you, Mafalda. Thanks for that introduction to ReLondon and exactly why we're here today, to make and hopefully let's do a good thing. So I'm Anna from A Good Thing, and I am the marketing and communications lead. For those of you who don't know, A Good Thing is on a mission to send less to landfill and more to a good cause. And we do that and we make it really easy for businesses to donate anything that they have unwanted to local charities via a really easy to use online platform. So it takes 5 simple steps. So you create an account and then a business creates an offer. So you take a quick picture of the thing that you've got to list, give a little bit of description, an eye-catching title, and then that offer gets sent to local charities in a 20-mile radius. The charities then get a notification and they submit a request to you. And very often they'll tell you a little bit about themselves, the types of projects that they're doing, and how they will use the thing that you've put on offer. The business then selects the charity, and at that point, the details are exchanged. So it's just like matchmaking for waste. 9 times out of 10, the charity will come across and pick up the item. Sometimes we've got some lovely businesses who might be doing some deliveries in the local area. We've got some that also post out offers to charities all the way across the UK. And what's really important to stress is that anything can be donated via the Good Thing platform. We've seen it all from a baby grand piano, a snooker table, huge bamboo poles that were part of an art installation, socks, baby grows, promotional merchandise, even that staff crockery that's been hanging around pre-COVID that people don't use anymore has all been donated via the Good Thing platform and found a new home. So why are we doing this? Well, on the one hand, we've got businesses and they're generating too much waste. So approximately 1.2 million office desks and 1.6 million office chairs end up in UK landfills each year. And those are just the things that we started. We think about all the things that we've got maybe stuffed away in cupboards, the things we're purchasing for use, the things we purchased, the things that we sell, the things we produce. There's so much waste that's coming through our businesses. And a lot of this waste falls into scope 3 category. Scope 1 and scope 2, when you're doing your carbon calculations, there's so many case studies and there's loads of support out there. But this is focusing on those things that you've purchased, the end of life of your products, and waste disposal. And a good thing is one way to help you to manage your scope 3 emissions. On the other hand, local charities need more support than ever before. Charities' income is set to fall by 2.2 billion by the end of 2024. And over the summer months and into the autumn, we've seen a number of trust and grant-giving organisations actually close their door to applications because they're so overwhelmed and inundated by the amount of applications they're receiving for their pots of funding. And what that looks like is over 4,500 charities closed in 2023. So the sector is really under quite a lot of stress. And importantly, charities are making up the backbone of our local communities. Despite the adversity and the challenges that they face, they're propping up public services, they're providing support to NHS, they're supporting everybody in the local community, local green initiatives, and increasingly, as we're going to see today, they're supporting the circular economy and making great steps and waves in and pioneering in some cases in the circular economy space. They're helping businesses to think about moving away from the linear economy and the recycling economy, and they're providing ways for us to reuse, to repurpose, to repair, and to get things that we no longer need as our businesses maybe back into those people in our local communities who do. And it's not just about businesses giving away things that are a good thing. It's also about championing our charity community and sharing the needs of our charity community. Over the past 12 months, our volunteers have been working incredibly hard to collate all of the information and the things that our charities tell us that they need. And in the past month, we've released that into our app. So London businesses can now log on to the platform and not only list an offer, but they can also see the specific needs of their local charities. So it's a simple and easy way to kind of get involved and find out about the local charity that you perhaps didn't know that was down the street or around the corner, and hear about the things that they need and donate them directly to them. And that's why we're here today. We're incredibly pleased to introduce 2 of our circular charities, Community TechAid and Streetbox, who are working incredibly hard to bring circular practices through their charitable organisations to London. We want to give them the opportunity to highlight and share the fantastic work that they do and to share their needs. So I'm going to hand over to Chris and Stephanie to continue. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for that. And I'm Chris Kendrick, founder of Streetbox. I'm just going to try and share my screen because I don't know if anyone can see that right now. Yeah, can you all see that? Maybe. Real. So I'm the founder of Streetbox. We're a food aid organisation in North London that redistributes surplus food to other mainly North London organisations. We're a veg box scheme. The best description I heard for ourselves was we're like Oddbox, but better. We were founded in 2020 during lockdown. And I'll give you a quick, brief-ish background of myself and how I found it, and where we are to how we've come to the point we are today. So I've been involved in the family greengrocery business since I was 14 odd years old, crushing boxes in the back of wood green opposite Safeways. And after finishing an economics degree, I decided to get involved in family business. And my role was mainly in procurement within the wholesale market in New Spitalfields market. Roll on to about 2020, and it was lockdown. At that time, I'd been volunteering for about a year with an organisation called ReLondon. And when lockdown hit, ReLondon was tasked within Haringey to provide the emergency food provision parcels for Haringey. We did this from Tottenham Hotspur Football Club underground car park and from Alexandra Palace. And my role was to source all the fresh surplus produce that would go into those parcels. Then within that first year, we distributed about 1 million meals worth of food. And what we found at the time was there was an issue that as a non-profit organization, we were always chasing for funding. So it was just going after funding round after funding round after funding, which was not sustainable. It was very much a bit of a roller coaster. So around this time, I started Streetbox. The idea being that if you buy a veg box from us, then we'll use your money or your funding to help us to source and redistribute surplus produce freely or cost effectively to other organizations that work within food, mainly within tackling food insecurity. So our veg boxes were never meant to deliver, we're not meant as a solution for access to good value nutrition. They're not a cheap veg box, they're just like Oddbox. And most of the cost is actually embedded in having to deliver those things. But yeah, it was a great means of getting funding and to be able to redistribute the other stuff that we did at the same time. So most of the surplus that we source comes from New Spitalfields market and from some growers in the Lee Valley. The model that we have is that we buy produce when it's cheap, and that's because it might be too odd, too discolored, or for the main reason is that it's just there's just simply too much of it. And we use bike couriers Zero based in Hackney to deliver our veg boxes now. And although we still use an overnight van, diesel van to deliver our produce, and also to collect like large donations from Felix and from other places. So we did this for a while, we had a few ideas, ran a few random pilots and applied for some grants, which were not successful. And then we pretty much just carried on with the same idea, just selling veg boxes, sourcing surplus and redistributing. We did this for a few years. All of us have full-time jobs, and so we're all doing this part-time in our spare time. And as lockdown eased and the cost of living crisis started to bite, and then there was the energy crisis as well, we started to think a little bit more deeply about how we could try to tackle, in some way, a small part of food inequality, which was about accessibility to good value nutrition, mainly, of course, within fresh produce, because that's what we specialize in. So at the time, we didn't really know the numbers around food insecurity. We sit on the monthly network meetings for Haringey, Hackney and Islington. And if you just at the time, or even now, just drive past a food bank, you'll see queues of people just waiting to go inside. So we knew that there was a need, and there was a growing need at the time, especially. It was very much in the news. And it might not just be that someone was hungry. It might be that they were actually just trying to use that food to reduce their other bills, which would affect their food insecurity, their security. So it was an important part of just how we can use surplus, which can be very cost effective to get access to help people within that situation. We looked a little bit more deeply into the reasons why people are affected by food inequality. The Eat Well guide has a recommendation of 5 portions of fruit and veg a day, which 80 grams or thereabouts is about 2.8 kilos a week. And in 2022, they give you a bit more information about it. The University of Oxford did a study. They took about 18,500 products from the major supermarkets, and they calculated what would be the minimum average amount that someone would need to spend to meet the minimum requirements of the Eat Well guide diet. And they found that was about £6.82, or about just over £47 weekly. And looking deeper into the numbers, as we did, we found that the average person actually spends only about £42 on their shopping, which is already lower than the £6.82 figure per day we were looking at. And then if you go a little bit further and you take the lowest 20th percentile of income earners, they were spending in a week on average less than £25 per person. So under half of what the recommended amount was for that budget to meet a minimum recommended diet on the Eat Well guide. So we knew there were some clear gaps that need to be addressed. We knew we had a model that distributed surplus. We had access to good value nutrition. We just had to think about ways that we could provide that to more widely, to give fair prices, good quality fresh produce. Choice is important, and a normal shopping experience that was accessible for all, and all at the same time as providing something that was good for the planet and to be sustainable for us as an organization. So at this point, I say our kind of tagline is that we're more than just a veg box, which is important because we actually do a lot of work behind the scenes, which is not just distributing veg boxes. So we came up with the idea with 2 other partners in Hackney, IDS Community Kitchen and Woodbury Aid, to start a project called Bloom Market. So the idea was, or is, that it's a 1-day online market. You can order best fruit and vegetables that we can source from growers and from New Spitalfields Market. And then we would deliver that to a local community centre the next day. The prices would be fair. We've got a tiered pricing structure. So if you're able to pay for what would be the normal price from a supermarket, that would be the listed price. Then there's a cheaper price if you're as a little thank you. And then there's another price, which is like the lowest price that is cost effective for us to still run the project. And give you an example of that, it could be a normal price for a cucumber would be 70p, somewhere around 55p for the saver price, but it can be as low as 35p in the season for those that want to choose that price. So it's a little bit like it's a little bit trying to encourage social investment in consumers to invest in our products in our idea by paying the full price. But if you need access to it, you can buy the cheaper price, and when you get your shopping, everyone is collecting from the same place. There's no differentiation between someone who's paying the full price and someone's paying the cheaper price. And we also have a mechanism that we can further support those people that need a little bit of extra support by signposting them to services that those centres have and providing them with other products if they need it, which we get as donations. So luckily we pitched this idea to some funders in Hackney, and through the City and Hackney Population Health Hub, we were funded for that just before the summer, and we're due to launch that website this week, actually. It was supposed to be last week, and we're due to launch that website this week, so I'll happily share the links on that. So although we're very much focused a lot on the social impact of what we do, and we know that this project in itself will actually be better for the planet anyway. Shorter food miles and saving produce going to waste have a positive impact. I can't tell you at all the water savings or the carbon emissions of what we do. Because although we record the kilos that we rescue, we've absolutely no idea how to turn that into those numbers. But we do concentrate on the number of meals that we saved. So last year we rescued 477,000 meals worth of food, which is about 200 tons or thereabouts. There we support over 16 organizations in North London, and also importantly as well, we're employing people as well through this initiative. So we're employing a small team, 4 people, but we're able to provide them with London living wage and to keep very importantly the business sustainable. So and alongside this, we've been working with others as well, who are also part of this network, to develop a brand of healthy dried ingredients and snacks, which we called Heapful. It's been a bit of a slow burner, but we've been working with Notpla in Hackney to be able to pack those ingredients into their fully compostable seaweed-based packaging, which is very, very cool. And we unfortunately had some trial results this week, so it looks like it's going to be 2025 when we might actually be able to see this actually sold in shops somewhere. But all of this work is about trying to create something that is a little bit, it is very much business orientated, but it's about trying to raise funds through that to be able to do the work that we do and to be self-sustaining. Lots of organizations do the same thing with community cafes and community shops and so on and so forth, but this is our way of doing it. So our charity need, food would be an obvious one. We do like a good rescue operation. Free food is always great. We collect about 500 to 600 kilos of surplus bread, sourdough bread from a bakery for a major supermarket in North London. And we get donations from another national food recipe box initiative that we redistribute. We won't name them because I hate their packaging, but it's really useful for us. But we also want to develop relationships with businesses that have other food waste that potentially we could even monetize. Not everything we have to receive as donations. Donated stuff we give out freely, but we do as part of our business model where we source surplus produce. We buy produce we buy produce to then resell, to redistribute, which is for us, we believe, a more long-term solution to tackling surplus streams of waste. So money, yeah, that's always a useful thing for any organization, non-profit or otherwise, and expertise. We always looking out for support for things like reviewing and refining fund applications. Anyone who's interested in taking on some project manager work for a bit of a startup challenge that we might have, or just anything that can help with our capacity building. And for those businesses that do want to get involved, I would just say hi. If there's anything that interests you in what we said and the project work we're doing, then or something that you're thinking about doing yourself, we'd love to hear from you, and just give us a shout and just have an initial chat. Collaborations are great. We've worked with startups and organizations from the ReLondon network, Angry Monk, who's a business-to-business surplus food provider. With them, we visited growers in Spain. We've tackled trucks of rejected cherry tomatoes for another major supermarket who shall not be named. And with their help, we've also sourced surplus vegetables from UK growers, including the bottoms of tender stem broccolis and more recently a whole heap of purple sprouting broccoli. So it's very, very cool. We also, with forage and fern, we've dried some of that same surplus, and with zero couriers, we've delivered some of that surplus to around town. So a good collaboration for us is really important, especially local conversations. And with those same organizations I just mentioned there, we over the summer delivered over 12,000 surplus food boxes for the Mayor's Fund for London's Create and Make programme. So there's a lot of big things that can happen from just a very small box scheme that we have with very few subscribers. And of course, it doesn't always have to be food related. Our VCS network is quite wide. With a good thing, thank you very much. Recently, we rescued a kilometre of Hessian material, which some of it's already been reused by 2 organisations in North London, in Haringey, for growing projects, but still related to food. And we've also rescued some wood planks for a project which we've yet to start for a free for all food shelter. So, but if you really want to get involved in food aid, then one of the best ways you can actually support our network is to join our network. Or join the network near you. Most of the London boroughs have a food aid network, and usually very informal, very grassroots, usually run on WhatsApp groups between about 40 to 80 members of organizations. And it's usually run by individuals that run their own organizations. So there's very little time for those networks themselves for capacity building. So what they're really crying out for is actually some additional support to help, and with in the spirit of Circular Economy Week and sharing resources, if you have the expertise to help, then it could be invaluable in supporting a wide range of organizations to become more sustainable. And that's it. I'll pass on.
Great, thank you, Chris. And yeah, we look forward to seeing the pictures of that wood that you took delivery of recently, and your street side stand that you're setting up as well. I'm also delighted to introduce Stephanie from Community TechAid to tell us a little bit more about what they're doing, a completely different take on a circular practice.
Hello, thank you for that. Thank you, Chris, and thank you, Anna. Hello, everyone. I will have to ask the question if everyone can see my screen. I think we'd be over that. Thank you, a thumbs up. Hi, my name is Stephanie. I'm the Partnerships and Engagement Manager here at Community TechAid. I'll just give you a little rundown about what we do here at TechAid and how you can help. So who are we and what do we do? So our mission is to end digital poverty by providing sustainable access to technology, skills, and online opportunities. When we say sustainable access, we mean both sustainable in the long term, so it's not just a quick fix for someone, but also in the environmental sense. And that's where our circular economy comes in. So we collect, repair, refurbish, and reuse any unwanted technology, mostly laptops, smartphones, and tablets. We do all of the repair work in-house, so everything that we do is in the office that I'm currently sitting in. And a part of that process, obviously, is wiping the data and making sure that everything is up to kind of as new as possible as you can get for a refurbished device. We obviously get some stuff that we can't use, so anything that we can't make use of or repair, we make sure it's broken down into material parts and it goes back into production. So why do we exist? We were set up a bit like Chris, actually. We were set up in lockdown, so March 2020. Our founder, Linda, has always had an idea of doing something like this, but it wasn't until COVID hit and everyone really understood the importance of being online that it gave everyone that incentive to kind of get involved. It just started as a call out on a WhatsApp group, and since then we have expanded to become a charity and expanded to become a real kind of cornerstone of our community. Just a couple of facts and figures. So what is the problem? So 11.9 million people do not have digital skills needed for everyday life in the UK. This figure is from the NHS, and what they're looking at is not just whether someone has access. It's all fair and well to have a laptop, to have a computer, and to have a phone. But if you can't use it, or you also don't have the internet needed to get online, then you're not kind of considered digitally included. There are 250 million laptops produced annually, and this creates more CO2 emissions than the airline industry. I think people always think of the airline industry as the worst polluter out there. I know it's something that we use as a comparison, but actually it is the tech industry. If you think about how often a new iPhone is coming out, or how often you're told that you should upgrade your laptop or get a new gaming console, it all contributes to that. In terms of e-waste, there's 1.9 million tons of e-waste produced annually in the UK. The UK is the second biggest producer per capita of e-waste. We are slowly catching up to become the first, which I don't think is a prize we would want to win. So our impact, as I said, we started in March 2020, and our impact from then, so we've connected 3,000 people with a device. We've diverted 7,000 devices from landfill, and we've recycled 10 tons of e-waste. There is a figure there that says 380 organizations we've partnered with. Throughout this slide, there will be some pictures of the people that we support. So we operate in Lambeth and Southwark, and we support residents of those two boroughs. Obviously, the need is much higher than just Lambeth and Southwark, but as a small organization, we have to make sure what we're doing for our community in Lambeth and Southwark is correct, and we are meeting everyone's needs and listening to our community before we start to expand. However, beyond being a resident of those two boroughs, we support anyone who needs our help. We've always said it is not for us to say who is more worthy of digital inclusion than someone else. So you can see kind of two faces there. The woman in that photo, her name is Judith, and she was a refugee who's come from us from a women's shelter. She moved to the country, I think about 7 months ago, and just didn't have any access to anything online, couldn't speak to her family back at home, and couldn't get the support she needed from the other services that she needed to access. So as you can see, she's proudly holding her laptop. We worked with her as well to give her digital skills classes, and she said to us that her laptop has become her best friend. And just little stories like that make you realize that what might seemingly, I mean, I know myself, I've got my personal phone, my work phone, as well as a laptop and a personal laptop. And I might probably want to throw them out the window sometimes of frustration, but it's really good to remember that actually these things are lifelines, because, it's not a luxury anymore to have a smartphone. It is a necessary. Everything is online. I'm sure everyone knows that the NHS is online. I have to book a doctor's appointment online, and I couldn't do any of that stuff if I didn't have the access. And I think Chris, he was talking about kind of the food crisis with the cost of living crisis. Having access to a computer and having access to the internet means all of those costs and all of those kind of daily outgoings and bills. If you have access to the online world, you can make sure that you're reducing your bills as much as you can. You can look out for the best deals. So it really, really is vital for everyone nowadays. So how can you help? Firstly, as part of our e-waste made good program, very obviously, we just need tech. We need tech to make sure that we can get it out back to our community. As I mentioned, we refurbish everything in-house. Predominantly, what we are looking for is laptops, smartphones, and tablets. They are the things that are most useful to our community. We do accept other things. As you can see from this list, peripherals, keyboards, mice, webcams, those things are very useful. I personally always use a mouse with my laptop, and it's something that we've noticed that our community love to do as well. Headphones, I mean, I'm sitting here with headphones and, you know, I have the luxury of a kind of a slightly smaller space and privacy, but a lot of the people we support, they live in shared accommodation, temporary housing. If you're trying to do your schoolwork, if you're trying to do a job interview, headphones are really crucial for that. Other things that we kind of get through Kindles, not something we ever set out to collect, but a really nice little bonus for someone who you know, loves to read and kind of wants to have that access. Older phones that aren't smartphones, sometimes we call them brick phones or dumb phones, but a lot of the people we support come through homeless charities, and maybe a smartphone is not what they need at this stage, and maybe just simply kind of an old Nokia phone is actually a lot more useful for them. Laptop phones and chargers and computer cabling. It all just goes kind of hand in hand. When we get a lot of donations of laptops, we often don't get any chargers. So having spare chargers for those kind of things actually is really, really useful. In terms of the age of things that we can accept, I know we get this question a lot. So we ideally want to get laptops that are no more than around 6 to 8 years old. However, if you're donating 20, 30, 40 plus laptops that are all the same make and model, it's actually easy for us to kind of what we call Frankenstein them together. Whereas if we have one laptop that's 8 years old, we will do our best to refurbish it and reuse it. But if it's something that has an old hard drive spinning disk, if it's really slow, just think about the fact if you don't want to use it anymore, it's likely that our community won't want to use it. But thankfully, because we have that recycling arm, we can take that stuff in. Just we get a lot of people asking whether, you know, they'll give us this old tablet that isn't supported for the latest security updates. You can't download any app. Someone comes to us and says, oh, it still turns on, it's still working. We don't consider that as working. And unfortunately, that wouldn't be going to kind of that lovely story like Judith's, but recycling it is just as important. This is our pricing overview. As you can see, there is a free option, but there's also basic and premium. We, as a small charity, we have to make sure that our costs are always covered, but we want to make sure that we can provide like a full service. So depending on what your company's needs are and exactly what you can offer, there's just this range. Obviously, I know Anna's going to send the slides so you can have a read, but the options basically are everything from you just delivering all the tech and ensuring and telling us that it's wiped, or up to we can collect it in and around South London and we can remove the data and provide certification of that. We always say that our biggest competition is probably waste companies. That's most likely where everyone gets kind of who gets the rest of your old redundant tech. As a not-for-profit, it just means you're not only doing social good, you're doing environmental good. We have a electric van who can come and collect if that's the option you're doing, and we have a very visible end-to-end journey with our impact reports, which I have one here. So this is a little example of the impact report that we can produce if that's something that you want and something you can donate towards. It gives you quantifiable environmental and social impact data to demonstrate exactly how your old tech is meeting your ESG goals. So the second way you can get involved is corporate volunteering. So we offer bespoke volunteering opportunities for businesses keen to support their local community. Volunteering at TechAid is very hands-on. As I mentioned, we're a small organization. So you're going to come in and you're going to get stuck into the day-to-day work that we do. We say you don't have to have any technical skills. I'm not very technical, but I have an amazing team with our technical operations manager, Steve, and our amazing other volunteers who come in and support us every single day. You can see from these photos just the range of people. We've had everyone from Microsoft, Kindle, Kantar. We have insurance company, Urban Jungle, as one of our partners. A lot of I think we've had Savills many times through different through their different kind of offices. We're open to everyone. It's an opportunity that is also great team building day. And if you don't think I've ever seen the inside of a laptop and I'm interested to know what it looks like, come and get involved and get stuck in. Much like with our tech, we do always ask for a small donation towards our work. This is flexible. We do host some days where someone hasn't been able to give this because we want to get people in and encourage it. But if you're unable to kind of donate towards a volunteering day, we ask that maybe there's tech available, or maybe you can kind of do referrals and spread our word. And finally, fundraising. Chris, I think you said the same thing. We always have to ask, as small organizations, we are always in need of any amount of money, and said just even £20 can make a huge difference towards our work. These are just some ideas. I mean, monthly donations, very obvious, and one-off donations, again, in the work that we do, we need a lot of spare parts, and they aren't very glamorous to fundraise for. It's not very exciting to think that you're buying 50 NVMe drives. However, we always try to get people to reframe that it might be a charger, but what that charger is a charger for a laptop, and that laptop is going into the hands of a school child, of someone trying to find work, someone just in a recovery program and looking to, engage with like an online therapy. Roundup donations. We have a partner who they're a retail organization. So if someone buys, I think we all seen it. If someone buys something and it's $6.99, you have a choice to round it up. So you're pushing that back on your customers. We don't expect companies and organizations to always donate from their own pocket, but put it back on your customers. If you've got a huge opportunity out there, and get other people thinking about the circular economy and thinking about the digital divide. And finally, conditional donations. So we also have another partner who are a recruitment agency, and for every candidate they place, they contribute a small amount to us. These are just, as I'll finish, these are just some faces of the people what we have supported. You can see that I said they're wide ranging, and we're really, really proud to say that we don't have kind of any like parameters on who we support, because if you need to be connected to the digital world, which we believe everyone should be, we're here to help you. And these will be in the slides that Anna shares, but my contact details at the end. So thank you.
Super, thank you. Thank you, Stephanie and Chris, for sharing a little bit more about your organizations and how you worked with a Good Thing, and highlighting, how businesses can engage in the circular economy across London and do a good thing. So some points to consider just before we hand over to some questions. We've got over 600 charities registered across the London areas. It's about 600 accounts, about 500 unique charities. And have a go at listing something on a Good Thing. That's what we say. Just have a little rummage around in the cupboards. Is there something that you're no longer needing? It's gathering dust, and to see how quickly it could be snapped up. Also, check out our list of public needs. I've sent it into the chat, but I will also send slides and a recording of this session later on, along with a link to our local charity needs, where you'll see the things that charities across London are saying that they're in need of, including Community TechAid's call for e-waste. Thank you, Mafalda, for introducing ReLondon and for inviting us to take part in this week, and giving us the opportunity to highlight a Good Thing, Community TechAid and Streetbox. I'll hand it over if there's any questions.